Ah, welcome back to the channel, everybody, for another Cool Kids stream. We are joined by yours truly, Zach Gaxiology, best taste in the biz. We will not dispute. And I'm joined by my usual suspects. Today, we're going to be talking about Pixar's latest offering, Hoppers. Now, it's actually kind of ironic that I ended up being the one hosting this because to put it bluntly, I had no faith in this movie. We will get into all that as we talk about it, but yeah, this was one of my least anticipated movies of the year going into 2026. And what did we all think of it? Well, all will be revealed. So let's start off with our expectations. And, well, as I just said, I had no faith in this movie. Like, I heard the premise, and all of us pretty much, well, most of us pretty much agreed that it just felt like it was going to be Pixar's Avatar, no nuance or anything like that. The trailers, I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I thought the trailers were actually particularly pretty cringy. And yeah, like every trailer and commercial we saw, it's actually a funny Super Bowl story because I was pissed that we got no fucking Super Bowl commercial for Toy Story 5. Meanwhile, I was like, oh, the lesser film with Hoppers got the full Super Bowl treatment. But um, yeah, Devin.
Um, I'm actually going to be right there with you. I thought this movie was going to be terrible. I thought the trailers looked really stupid. It like you said, it looked like Pixar's Avatar mixed with Shaggy Dog.
Hmm.
I thought they looked really cringy, and not to mention, like, we haven't gotten a lot of like top tier from Pixar this decade. So I had a feeling this is probably going to be like another underwhelming entry, like with kind of like with what Elio was
And Lightyear.
and Lightyear.
Lightyear is like, fucking, give me that shovel. Come here.
Yeah. I was worried that was what this was gonna be, and I saw the reviews, and this was getting like all kinds of critical acclaim, and I was actually like pleasantly surprised. So
Yep.
that was what I was willing to give it a chance. Like, oh, maybe there's something here, and sure enough, I was happy to be considered. I was happy to be wrong.
Yep.
hmm
All right, John.
but yeah, I was pretty much the same. I looked at it and I'm like, at the most, this will be harmless fluff, but nothing great. I just saw it. I'm like, I haven't really been into Pixar for quite a while, so I'm just like, I'll skip it like all the other ones. And then, I just kind of was like, whatever, because I agree. It looked like Avatar mixed with Over the Hedge, mixed with Pompoko, and throw all that in a blender, and that this is what we come up with. But nope, didn't turn out that was the case. Thank God. And once sure, critical reception is fine, but that's not the be all and end all. Once these guys started saying it was fucking positive and all that, so I'm like, all right, now I really got to give this a shot. So I eventually properly gave it a shot, and yeah, I'm with everyone else here.
All right, and Rob has having technical difficulties. While he tries to work with that, um, I guess we can go into our positives. And I'm just gonna say right now, this was the most pleasant surprise I've had all year. I, for as much as I had like little faith in it, I actually was I even with like the worst that I always feel going into a movie, I always legit try to give it a chance. I gave Joker Folie a Do a chance. I gave Skinamarink a chance. So I tried giving this a chance. And thankfully, I had an absolute blast with it. Like some movies you can tell, like if it has a really charming opening, especially with a Pixar film, then you're able to tell that we're in good hands. And I liked the vibe of this movie. I know a lot of people are kind of iffy about this new animation style. Devin was mentioning this. And I didn't mind it so much here. I think it honestly fit pretty well with the story they're trying to go for here with some of the visuals with the forest and the animals, the animal designs I really liked. And I thought the main character was very charming and likable. This could have easily been very pretentious, heavy-handed version of activists, for save the environment and all that, but they gave Mabel a lot of nuance, and there was a lot of layers to her. She wasn't just the one note, rebellious environmental activists like the trailers were making it look like, and I thought that was a very pleasant surprise. A lot of the side characters I really like. These are probably some side characters in a Pixar film that I've liked the most in any recent new Pixar movie. Like the King Beaver I thought was really funny. And I like that he was also more than the comic relief. Like I like that even he had a lot of moments with Mabel, like you wake up and all that, like towards the end of the movie. I thought that it was great that they gave him moments like that. And this movie goes in a direction that this is actually the thing I'll give the trailers credit for. As bad as the trailers are, they actually do a good job of legit hiding what this movie actually is in the back half. Like something happens, like uh, I was warned early on that there's a plot twist in this movie. Like you'll definitely know when you see it, and when it happens, I thought it was a nice subversion of what we thought was going to be the usual Avatar formula. And plus, they had I don't know what the song is actually called, but they have everyone's watching in the soundtrack. So that was the moment in the movie where I was like I was already really liking the movie up until then, but that moment when they played that song, I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm in love with this movie. Like it was the most charming moment in my opinion. But yeah, those are my positives. Great characters, a very charming tone, great visuals, and a nice plot twist that isn't done just for the sake of being a plot twist. It actually adds to the narrative and does a lot of things with the characters you wouldn't really expect. So, Devin.
Um, Actually, before I get into my thoughts, I do want to say, even though Rob can't be here, he is sending like audio, like voice messages of his thoughts. So I do want to play his expectations first before I get into like my positives, if that's okay. All right, so this is like let me know if you guys can hear it. This is the right dude's expectations for Hoppers. So, as someone who has loved the early days of Pixar and has been and for the modern Pixar, it's been kind of hit and miss. Um, but my expectations that I was honestly really worried about this movie, just like with everyone. I expected Pixar's Avatar mixed in with Pompoko and Over the Hedge. It's one of those the humans are bad. They're destroying the animals' homes for us. That's honestly what I was kind of expecting. But then again, it's Pixar. Sometimes they can pretty much throw a big surprise. So I end up seeing this movie twice now. I saw it Friday night when I was working with my client, and then I saw it again the next day with my brother. So, and Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was hoping to do a review of it when I first heard about it, but then when I saw the trailers, I was thinking it was just going to be Pixar's Avatar, and we wouldn't have much to say, which is why I originally dropped it from the schedule. But yeah, that's just what my expectations are.
All right, now getting to my positives. Like I was saying when I was talking about my expectations, like I was so happy to have been proven wrong with this movie. I thought Hoppers was a wonderful, great film. First thing, is I loved the main character, Mabel. I thought that she was such a likable, charming, relatable, developed character. You can she's not like an overhanded stereotype of an activist, which, like Zach said, that was something else I was worried about, and thankfully that wasn't the case. She is she really is a great character. And a lot of the other characters here are charming as well, like the king, George. Ironic. Like I loved like how like I especially love like the first interaction was look listen, your majesty. Oh no, your majesty is my father. You can call me George. Like that was great. He was a really funny character. I loved like all the characters here were very likable and charming. I loved the scenes with Mabel and her and the bond she had with her grandmom. Like that almost had me like teary eyed. I thought the movie was really fucking funny. Um, like wait, do you hear that noise? Wait, what noise? No, that noise. It's really loud. It's coming from the trees. Oh, that's not a tree. And then when they're holding when they're in the car with the with Jerry the mayor, and and she's talking on the phone like don't be scared, we're here to help you. And then the other animals are chasing after them. They throw a fucking shark at the car. Like, oh my god, I was dying. That was amazing. Thankfully, this is not an Avatar ripoff, like we all thought it was going to be. It was so much more. It had such a beautiful environmental message. What I also wasn't expecting this movie to get really dark. Because like at first, like it's very like lighthearted, but then once that second half begins, when they're in the meeting, and then Bale accidentally kills the butterfly, and then the sun becomes the villain, like the twist villain, like that reveal actually worked. And the motive I thought was actually pretty understandable. But yeah, humor works, the drama works, like the soundtrack works. Like I said, this is just like a wonderful movie. I do have like one issue, but that's kind of a nitpick, but I'll say that for my negative. But other than that, I feel like the movie was top notch.
Yeah, I will have to agree. I thought the acting was great. Piper Kuda was, I think, the name of the actress who played Mabel. She did an excellent job. What I liked a lot about her character, again, as you both have mentioned, she's not just a one note activist character. It's like, one, it helped that we saw like the bond with her grandma, like why she did these things. Like there was that buildup of like, kid wants to help the animals. That's cute because, naivete and all that stuff. Like I can save everybody and anything. Um, and she kind of holds on to that, but the grandma kind of like puts it into something, but she still has that childlike naivete that really makes her not like a Mary Sue type character where she's like, "Oh, I'm going to single-handedly convince Jerry the mayor to not do this thing and then we're going to do this and that." And it's just, no, she fucks up a lot in this movie. She fucks up so much shit in this movie and it's like so refreshing to see like this character not just like come in, save the day, and leave. She actually feels like a three-dimensional character. I love the enthusiasm from the character, and from the actress who did a really good job. Like I think this actress definitely has a future because it just like even though she was fucking up, you had sympathy for her, you cared about her, but she was also like you know, she wasn't, perfect. So that really helped matters. But it's even when she was doing stupid shit, even though you knew she could have been doing better stuff, it's like you still liked her and you still wanted to see her. Like, no, you could have done that so much better. I hope you learn, and she does, and that's what makes it so good. And then you had Bobby Moynihan as King George. I'm not a big SNL guy, but usually whenever I catch Bobby Moynihan in anything, or whether it's SNL or otherwise, he's usually like on top form. He's definitely a very underrated comedic actor. It's just he's not very much in stuff. Um, but yeah, I thought he did such a wonderful job. And then I kind of forgot that Dave Franco was in this movie. He is the one who plays the son of the butterfly and becomes the villain. Because I remember, you know, he was doing like press with Bobby Moynihan, and I'm like, well, I know Bobby Moynihan's in Hoppers. Are they doing another movie together? And it just didn't click with me. And then once he became the villain and he quote unquote hit puberty, um, I'm like, oh, that's Dave. Oh my god, that's Dave Franco. I was like, holy shit. Like honestly, Dave Franco like put on a performance here, and I really liked that as well. Um, and then I think John Hamm was Mayor Jerry. He was really good, over the top, but worked, and I really liked that. But again, it wasn't just like, oh, humans are evil. Like, yeah, we kind of suck a lot of the time. Don't get me, I mean, hello. Um, but at the same time, we're not like, it's men are still good, right? I mean, say what you will about BVS. Ben Affleck hit the nail on the head there. But we can be good sometimes. And I will say this, when it comes to this movie, in regards to the character of Jerry, it was so refreshing not to see like, it was kind of like in Sinners when it wasn't just like clear cut, oh, white people is bad, and I'm like, oh, thank fucking Christ. Here it's not like, oh, humans is bad in a pro environmentalism movie. It's just like, man, it's like we didn't get any of that, luckily. I mean, Jerry was still not like I'm not saying he was a great guy, but he wasn't like a bad guy either. Although when it came to his arc, the most unrealistic part about this movie is that it features a politician that actually listens to the people, realizes his mistakes, and decides to better himself for it for the good of the city slash people he's leading. Very unrealistic. Honestly, it's more unrealistic than the body hopping technology in this movie. So, there's that. But I thought the animation was great. It's typical. Like, I've kind of made peace with CGI animation. Like, I know it's not going to be as good as traditional 2D animation, but it's Pixar's bread and butter, so I'm obviously not going to like, screw you. But it's still good CGI animation. It doesn't do a lot of the bean mouth thing that I'm kind of getting sick of in this day and age. So there's that. But it definitely has the cuteness of it. it has the lushness of it, but also has some realism, like all the things that make Pixar so good. But I like the darker tone, as you guys were mentioning in the second half, how it starts off cutesy, and it's not like a bad type of cutesy. It's just like, oh yeah, this is, and not, I don't want to say typical Pixar, because that means like, it's not that great. No, it's just like, it starts off as like a well-meaning Pixar movie, but then it gets into darker territory, much like, the darker Pixar movies, and it works there as well. And I really like that. I think the story was good. The themes of pro-environmentalism were subtle, crazy. And it's more, and what I liked about it, it was more about, the kindness of people, and like, it's like, guys, we're here for only so long. We fucked it up a lot. If they suffer, we suffer. And if we suffer, they suffer, because we're all in this together. That's like the brunt of the movie. That's the whole basic idea of the movie. And maybe that can seem cheesy, but it's just like the power of kindness. I mean, a lot of movies like Project Hail Mary was about this, Superman was about this. So it's just like, hey, in the words of the two greatest rock stars in the world, be excellent to each other. So, I very much appreciated that. But yeah, I think I do have a couple mixed things that I'm not too stellar about, but for the most part, I thought this was those are my positives so far. So and the humor, most part the humor was good. But yeah, those are my positives.
All right, Austin, your expectations and your positives.
All right, hi everybody. My real name is Jerry. Because because it's always got to be a guy named Jerry in these goddamn movies.
So you're the Jerry Nader?
No, the Austinator is my fake name, but Jerry is my real name because there's always got to be a guy named Jerry.
He was a race car driver.
He's a racist. All right, so Hoppers, right? This is the new Pixar movie, Shimalama Ding Dong type thing. Yeah, I didn't really, I don't know if I really had any real high expectations because, the marketing for this movie made me go, oh, it's Avatar, ain't it? And also, Pixar is very hit or miss because, the last couple were like, yeah, it's okay, but nothing to really write home about. So, going into Hoppers, I was just like it might be okay, it might not be. So when I went into Hoppers, I thought to myself, oh boy, I'm not going to go into it with high expectations because even though everybody here was like, oh yeah, the movie was pretty good, I'm like, I don't know, guys. It's also Pixar and Disney, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it as far as I could throw it with like a 10-foot pole. So needless to say, I was still a little skeptical. However, I watched the movie and I thought, damn, that was pretty good. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread? No, it's definitely not Pixar's greatest movie, but you know what? Hey, at least it's not Avatar. Unfortunately, it stars a guy named Jerry. Now, as far as my positives, the animation is pretty good. I mean, like, if am I really gonna complain about Pixar's animation? Like, come the fuck on, guys! Like, get a fucking clue here, please. All right, thank you. I will say the story is pretty good. It's definitely not Avatar. It stars a guy named Jerry and a girl who commits forest fires and also commits a lot of crimes. So technically. So that's my favorite type of protagonist is when you commit illegal crimes and get away with it, guys. No, but in all seriousness, though, the story is cute. I mean, it's very environmental environmentalism or environmentalist. I don't know what the word is. I think that's the word. Although you couldn't tell because it's literally just her fucking burning down a forest. But no, the animation's good, the acting is good. I like the more in depth stuff, like the more deep stuff, like the grandmother and stuff, like how like she's connected with her through nature and than when she passes away. It's like there's almost like that underlying story of like trying to like fix what's like try to fix things, but at the same time it's well, what's the word? You can tell I'm not prepared for this, but fuck it, we're doing it live. I really like the more like I think there's the more underlying context there, which I really like of like almost like needing to fix things because like being attached to somebody. And then Jerry, of course, the guy's name is Jerry. I thought, I mean, granted, at points I kind of roll my eyes a little bit at the antagonist that kind of redeems himself, like, but he really wasn't an antagonist. He was just a guy named Jerry who was like, "Oh, I got to be the mayor, and I got to do the mayor things." And then you got to have the main protagonist go, "No, you can't do mayor things. I protest mayor things." And then he goes, "No, but I will eventually redeem myself." So, like what John said, it's like all men are still good.
Except men named Jerry.
Well, sometimes men named Jerry. Unless you're Jerry Seinfeld in B Movie, then yes. Then you're just a cool dude.
Just keep him away from underage bees, that's all.
And keep him away from Pop-Tarts, because he's pretty fucking weird. Then what else do I have? Oh, there was a point in the movie where like I genuinely thought of it being really funny because all I could think of is, oh my god, we're too in deep. We gotta kill all the forest animals. I don't know what we gotta do, but we gotta make sure that none of these animals get away because oh god, this is gonna be bad. But no, that's just more of a funny me thing. The animation, the story's good. I do like the more darker second half of the movie because I mean, it was also kind of nice to see Pixar doing something somewhat new. Not necessarily new in concept because, Avatar. Well, I wouldn't say Avatar because, like, yeah, I guess you got the Avatar with the consciousness thing, but it's still relatively new for Pixar. So it was nice for them to branch out a little bit and not doing the generic, dad or parent going, no, son/daughter, you can't do this because you need to do the family thing. And then they're like, no, I don't want to do the family thing. And then they meet the love interest, or there's got to be a coming of age story. No, it was actually a really nice story about a teenage girl, fucking putting her brain inside a hamster robot, try to save the dam.
Beaver.
A hamster?
Close. Beaver, but
tomato,
close.
tomato. They're the same thing to me.
How do you mix up a beaver and a hamster?
No.
Just like how I believe a fox is the same thing as an owl. It's the same to me.
Oh my god.
Wah.
This is like the animal version of I don't see color.
I don't see color. You
No. As the maniacal cinephile put it, excuse me, I can't smell colors.
Hold on, Zach. I have the sound effect.
I don't give a shit. One guy. All right, so fine. A honey badger. That's who she is.
Jesus Christ.
Or no, it's not a honey badger. It's no, not a chipmunk. You could tell I'm out of it now because I don't. All right, well, whatever. She's the fucking.
Congrats, Austin. You got it right.
She's I don't know. She's her braids are like a not a hedgehog, but the all right, fuck it. I'll just call it whatever. Her head's in a robot animal trying to save the dam, not the dam, but the thing, or where all the animals go to live. And then bada bing, bada boom, shit happens, forest fires, and everyone dies. The end. Except nobody died. I don't think, except that butterfly guy. That was also the twist villain was interesting because it just mutates it into a butterfly, becomes a robot Jerry, because robot Jerrys are even worse than regular Jerrys, except for if you're Jerry Seinfeld. The in B movie specifically, the music's pretty good. And yeah, that's my positives.
All right. We will go back to Devin when he will give us Rob's positives.
Here's Rob's positives.
First of all, I'll say that just like every other Pixar movie, the animation looks beautiful. Of course, Pixar, they usually bring their A game when it comes to their animation. So even the worst Pixar movies, which are like Cars 2, Brave and the Dinosaurs, they'll at least they'll at least give some decent animation out of it. So that's to be expected. I thought the character of Mabel was very likable. You understand about her. What she's going through. It's not pretty much the Pixar's Avatar like we thought it was. It wasn't the industrialism versus environmentalism like we thought. Though this is a movie that pretty much takes different turns that you do not expect one way or the other. If you were going into expecting Pixar's Avatar, and honestly, I can't blame you for that. You'll be pretty much surprised that this takes in a completely different direction. You always think it goes one way, and that's what I like about this movie. It's that it's not really predictable. You don't know where it's going to go, or you think it's going to go one way, and then it takes like a completely different turn. So that's what I like about it. I like the other characters like King George. He was really good. He's caring. He's he's the optimist that thinks about others. And I like how Jerry isn't considered like the stereotypical evil human, tearing down. Like it seems like it goes that way, but it doesn't. So that's what I do like about the other characters are just so memorable. They're fun. There's also a lot of funny moments in this. There are moments that really did make me laugh. There was actually one moment that was like super dark but super funny at the same time, and I'm gonna spoil part of this, but it's like this queen, this butterfly queen, she's like trying to say like let's kill the humans, they're evil, we need to squish them. And it's like, and then tries to get onto Mabel about it and just accidentally squishes. It's like that was and kills her. It's like that was honestly so unexpected but so funny at the same time. So um the voice acting is really well done. The Piper, I can't remember her last name, to voice Mabel. She does a great job. Dean Franco, he is like hilariously over the top as the villain. So he's just such a blast to watch. So I'm trying to think here. What else is there? I would say like, and I do like how honestly I've said before that I was expecting Pixar's Avatar, but it's actually more representative of my favorite movie of all time, Princess Mononoke, where it pretty much represents like there's no evil side. There's not one side good, one side bad. It's more on just being able to how can we be able to coexist? How can we find humility? How can we pretty much work together without labeling the other one as the bad guy? So, like in Princess Mononoke, you got the the queen that you think is going to be that's like the villain, but she actually just cares for the safety of her people, and I feel like it's kind of in a similar situation with Jerry, he wants to he cares about his title and he acts pretty much very dickish at first, but it's obvious that he's actually listening to people, he's looking out, so those are pretty much my positives. If I have any more, then maybe I'll bring it up. So, but that's just what I have.
What's funny with Mayor Jerry in this movie? The first argument him and Mabel are having at the beginning of the movie. Well, you can't do this. This is the animal space and all that. Meanwhile, the whole time Mayor Jerry is just thinking,
"You should have moved up, twat face." Hissed the engines. "Don't you know space is at a premium?"
Okay.
I mean, any excuse to use George Carlin is a good one.
I mean, I got plenty of good ones, but yeah, that is our positives. let us now go into our mixed on the movie, if we have any. And right off the top of my head, I don't think I have any. Like, if anything, and even then, this is really nitpicking because I could have used maybe a few more little moments with her and her grandmother, if anything. But even then, that's nitpicking because what we still got was really emotional, and it got the message across just fine. But yeah, I don't think I have anything mixed. Anyone?
I would say, because I know I had this as a negative, but this is definitely more like mixed. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but I haven't been really crazy about this new type of animation style that Pixar's been doing. Like, I don't know, like they're kind of doing the same style they used for like Luca and Turning Red and Elio. Like the big, like toothy SpongeBob grins, or like what John was saying, like the bean mouths. I don't know, just something about that style. Like, maybe just because I've been seeing it like more and more lately, and I'm just starting to get sick of it. And I would like for them to use a different style. Thankfully, it wasn't as distracting as those three other movies I mentioned. But I don't know. That style is starting to like wear on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice it as much as like Luke from what I've seen of Luca or Elio. So I think it helped because the animals aren't there wasn't a lot of humans until like later on. So I think that helped matters because then the toothy grin stuff wasn't there. But for me, I would say some of the humor is kind of cringy. Like it's like kind of that Gen Z kind of humor. Like one joke that really was like, all right, you're making this too long, kind of move on. Or they're like describing the noise and it's like a car alarm and it's just like it goes on way too long and it's just not funny. And then it has a couple of like annoying kind of like how do you do fellow kids kind of jokes later on. Nothing bad, just kind of cringy. The second act had some slower moments, but not in like a great way or a bad way, just like kind of like okay, you're kind of running this for a little bit too long, let's kind of speed it up a little. But for the most part, I thought it was very good, and I thought that like the pacing was fine. Like especially in the first and third acts, they were very good. However, in that second act, there was just some bouts of slowness that prevented it from being better. So yeah.
Austin?
I don't really have a whole lot of mix. Like maybe like some of the humor's kind of hit and miss. But that's kind of more like a nitpicky thing. But you know what? It's a beaver. I remember now. It was actually a beaver, not a hamster. So
Hey, he knows his animals.
it took me a bit. Took me a bit to fully remember what it was. Also, I want to go into the. I also I had another positive. I just remembered. I liked Mabel's relationship with our friendship with George. That was also really nice and endearing. I know it's not mixed, but honestly, this is stuff I remember. I'm working off the top of my head. Shut up. And then that's it. I don't really have a whole lot of mixed.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. While Rob is giving out his mixed, we will until we get that, we will go into negatives. I don't have any, honestly.
Neither do I.
Really?
No, nothing major negative. Nothing
I have
really
no
all that
negatives on
terrible.
my end either.
Yeah. So but yeah, honestly, I think all around the board we can all agree it was a very, very pleasant surprise.
It was very
Oh,
fun.
we got Roman. Chat, what's up, man?
What up, Rome?
Hope you're
Let's go.
doing.
What's up?
Yep, hope you're doing good. Oh, and Rob has sent his mixed. So I'll leave Devin to that.
I don't see it. I don't see it in the chat yet. So it might be still sending.
Right. But yeah.
What about? I think one of my favorite jokes, running jokes in the movie was the one dude's like, wait, he has a crown. Like, do they all walk around? Do they all walk around with crowns? That's your main concern?
Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes in the movie was when Mabel and Jerry were arguing towards the beginning of the movie, and then he's like, "We argue all the time," and she's like, "We don't argue all the time." And it's just like a little montage of them arguing all the time. And I love the one where she's at like his house, and he's like, "This is my mom's house. Why are we arguing?" I thought that was pretty funny.
All right, Rob's mix is in the chat now, so here we go.
Now, for my mixed, I pretty much could say that maybe some humor, while I did admit that some humor was pretty funny, I will admit others pretty much didn't really land for me. I mean, obviously the Avatar joke is pretty much like the one we saw in the trailer. That was kind of stupid. You didn't really need to mention that. I felt like it could have been done. Maybe you could have added a little bit more of Mabel and her grandmother. Maybe some of that. But I think that's practically it. So I don't have any negatives, to be honest with you. Like any issues I might have is more concerned mixed. Like I feel like I said, the humor could have been better. And maybe you could have had a little bit more of a connection between Mabel and her grandmother, didn't have to take up the whole movie, but we probably could have used a little bit more of it. So, but that's all I gotta say.
I think my favorite joke was probably the Pond Rules one, when the bear was going to eat the other beaver. Like, seeing the full context of the joke made it funnier, because that was another one in the trailers made it come up kind of stupid. You know what I wanted to happen though? A fucking fish come out of there and slap up the bear leg.
Surprise, motherfucker!
True.
Don't tempt me. I got plenty of these. Babies earlier.
I will say it was also very, very, very cool, this movie, to do a Sharknado reference.
Yeah, boy. Fucking love those movies.
Flying Shark was awesome.
Ironically, like, they're not actually good, but I love the hell out of them.
I will say though too, like I think even the it's not like a major thing. I guess I should have put this in my mix. I do kind of agree we could have seen more of like the grandmother stuff, because I feel like I would have liked to see it more like towards the end of like her life, and maybe seeing a little bit more of that side of things, because then we maybe could, but it's not like a major thing, because you could kind of get through like what we already saw, like, oh, like this kind of fucked her up a little bit. But I also would have liked to see more of like the animal the council, because I feel like once you see them, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, but they don't really do a whole lot with it, other than they're just, oh, we're kind of bad guys, except the caterpillar guy, and then he became Robot Jerry. So it was like, yeah, I kind of like. Granted, it's not a big thing, but it's stuff that I would have liked to see a little bit more of.
Blame it on Jerry, of course.
It's always got to be Jerry. We always got to blame a guy named Jerry, because there's always got to be a guy named Jerry in a movie.
Shit,
make sense.
I'll blame it on anyone named Ari.
I'll blame it on anyone named Rupert.
And Michael. Bait.
And Taika.
Kaka. My titties.
Or Kyle, Kyle Edward Ballsack.
Kyle, pile of shit. But yeah, as I mentioned before, I don't have any negatives either, honestly. So, anything else before we get into our final thoughts?
Nope, I don't think so.
Oh, I also got. I do want to mention also. I thought the credit scene was really sweet. Did you guys stick around for that?
I
Yeah.
saw the mid-credit scene, which was kind of funny. I guess there was an end credit scene, but I had to get home to my dog, so I didn't want to
There's
stay
a
too much
whole
longer than
scene
I
that
had to.
there was a whole scene that went back to that old man that she was talking to, and all he gave her was like, it was like, "Yo, you signed my thing," and it's just a shopping list.
Yeah.
I guess it cuts back to that where her animal friends um bring him the things on his list like bread and milk and eggs and all that.
That's very
Oh,
cute.
that's nice.
That was that was a really sweet scene. Like, and one more thing I say, I don't know, I'm not speaking for everyone here, but I honestly cried twice,
Mm.
which I like I mentioned before, I was not like I didn't have the highest expectations for it, but even with how much I was trying to get into it, I was not expecting it to be so emotional. Like even as much as I was getting into it, I was thinking it was gonna be, like how we all thought it was gonna be in the first half, like lighter, more lighthearted and quirky and all that. So when the emotions start running high in the back half, my eyes were watering quite a bit. So with that being said, our final verdicts. I I had a total blast with this movie. I had no expectations for it. I thought it was going to suck, but I I could see this being one of the better modern Pixar movies we've gotten in a long time. Up there with Onward. Yes, Onward on a second watch, I ended up loving infinitely more than I did the first time. So I could see this being more on the half end of my Pixar ranking. So pleasant surprise. I absolutely loved it. I will totally buy this and watch it when it comes to digital and all that. So I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Um, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I was happy to be proven wrong about Hoppers. This one, I loved this movie. This was such a great film. Um, is it? I don't think it's close to being a Pixar classic, but I do plan on seeing it again. So maybe on a second watch, maybe. But right now, I'd in my Pixar ranking, I'd probably put this like 15th. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's funny. The characters are likable. It has a great message. It's just a very, very well done film. And Austin's gone. It's still playing in theaters. So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't, give it a watch with the family. And I'm also giving it a 9 out of 10.
So
Alright.
I also thought the movie was pretty great. I thought it did a lot of good stuff. I thought the voice acting was great. I thought all the characters were well thought out, had a lot of depth to them. I thought the animation was really good. The music was good. I didn't really remember it, but I remember some of the more epic scenes. Story was good. Themes were not. It didn't beat you over the head with it like a lot of other pro environmentalism shows and movies. So there was that. I really liked. The most of the humor. Some of it doesn't land, but most of it's pretty good. Again, pacing was a bit slow, but for the most part, the pacing was good. It just in that second act there were bouts of slowness, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty great movie. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I very much enjoyed it. Pleasant surprise. And yeah, it's still in theaters. It's been a couple weeks, but it's still in theaters. So I highly recommend it. I think we all highly recommend it. Go see this. Go see Project Hail Mary. Go see Undertone. Don't see shit like The Bride. Stick with good stuff.
Like Scream 7.
I can't judge. I have not seen the movie.
But yeah, all right, Austin, just in time.
All right. So as far as the movie goes, I thought it was very, very good. Like I said, I don't know if I would go as far as say it's like Pixar's like greatest movie, but I think in terms of like recent stuff, I think it was very good. Um, like I said, I like the characters, I like the animation. The story feels different compared to a lot of like the stories that we typically get from Pixar. Um, and yeah, like the tone in the second half, I think it's a nice breath of fresh air, if that makes sense. I do highly recommend this film as well. Go and see it. Though I haven't seen The Bride, but I will agree, don't go see The Bride. Um, or do it to make up your own opinion on it, I guess. But from the people that've seen it, I've heard it's not very good. So maybe don't go see it. Go see this instead. Go see this with your family. Go have some fun family time. You'll like it. Yeah, this it's a fun kid. It's just a fun movie. You know, I give it a very rare Austinator 9 out of 10. It's not a 5
Right.
it's not a 10 out of 10, but only very few movies have made a 10 out of 10.
Such a
right.
low rating. How dare you? I'm just kidding.
And now we have Rob's final thoughts and grade.
All right.
So overall, I found this movie to be a pleasant surprise. I'm glad that Pixar can finally show us that original animated Pixar movies are not dead. You know, I know like the forgettable Elio pretty much drove home that notion, but I'm glad that this movie came along because this is the movie we needed to show people that original Pixar films can still work. They don't have to always rely on sequels and prequels and so on, you know. This is a movie that you need to watch if you were turned off by it because the trailer, again, I don't blame you for that. I would say at least give it a shot because it is a pleasant surprise. It is right up there with probably somewhere in my top 15 favorite Pixar films right now. So I am so looking forward to seeing this a third time, you know, and I cannot wait. Yeah. So overall, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. So definitely go check this movie out.
Absolutely. And it's funny too because I was totally expecting to walk out of this movie thinking, oh, thank Christ, we still have Toy Story 5. But now it's like, hell, if Toy Story 5 is good also, then this is a damn good year for Pixar. What a return to form it'll be. Please be good. Oh, I'm gonna be so heartbroken if Toy Story 5 is anything less than passable. But yeah. Anything else, gentlemen?
To the schedule.
Alrighty.
The next movie we have is actually going to be an Austinator hosted review. And it is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which I'm very hyped about. I love the first one, so I'm very excited for
I'm just kidding.
this movie.
It could be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
So, as I said, that's going to be hosted by Austin, but he left.
Yeah. It's because he knows he has to host that movie. He's like, oh fuck this shit. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even going to be close to the piece of resistance animated film of the year that is Cat in the Hat.
Nice fan of zone him.
I'm kidding.
Time's up.
Worth it.
And then there were two. Who will win the $1 million prize?
Yeah, no, I was kidding. It looks like dog shit.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. But yeah, oh, dude, I call that movie Creeper in the Hat. Jesus Christ. Austin, just in time. We just announced your next review. But yep, total silence.
Mm.
He's in complete misery. He has to host the Mario sequel. I feel so bad for you. You always get the stinker animated movies. What the hell?
Wait, is Mario actually the next review for?
Yeah, it's
Cool
the next
Kids?
review. It's coming out. It's coming out in a little bit more than a week. It's coming out on April Fool's
Like
Day. So.
I'm kidding to all the people who are watching.
Oh,
Like I thought the
fuck
first
yeah,
film was
man.
fine. Like I thought the first film was fine. This one will probably be fine. Like I'll go into it with optimistic,
Hey.
if anything.
The biggest positive of that review is everybody's going to be able to see my handsome face once again.
Mhm. But yes, so that will be our next review. And as far as Pixar related content, join us again Pixar wise in June when we talk about Toy Story 5. And then we have a Pixar ranking that you can look forward to very soon. Hosted by Moi. Best taste in the biz. Mm-hmm. Yep. But yep, that is going to do it for us today. I want to thank everyone who tuned in for watching. I want to thank all my usual suspects for joining. And if you're finding us for the first time and you like what you see, subscribe if you want to see more. And always remember, people, everyone's watching to see what you do. I love that this movie used that song.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, see you guys.
Once again, we have brought light into the world. You're welcome, America.